Well, hi everybody. How's it going? There is a wonderful conversation coming today with Mr. Ron Richards, who'll be joining us shortly. I don't know if Amos is going to jump in here. I don't think Hammond's going to be able to make it today, but you have made it. And that, my friends, is the most important part of this election. The people. Hey, Clinton. Hey, Zoe. Hello. Zoe's in more than one place at the same time. Hey, Batfink. How is that possible, Zoe? What's going on? It's crazy time. Hello, beautiful people. Had a little minor emergency at that. This morning, Seven came back from his walk, and he had scraped a little, I don't know what they call that. I used to know. A little part that's on their wrist on a dog that's it's kind of like the same material as on their paw. What's that called? Yeah, there's a name for it, and I can't remember it now. Anyway, he scraped it, so we had to try to treat it. He didn't like that. It was very dramatic, but all good now. All good now. So it was a little drama, little whining and barking and screaming. And there was no screaming except from me. Stop that. Not the dew claw, because that's the claw. What's the pad by the dew claw called? Happy Hat Friday to you too, Howard, and to all who celebrate. Liverpool versus the Wolves going on. Yeah, Larry, I think Zoe may be cloned. I made sure that I set up the Patreon live to be available to everyone today. I think I made a mistake yesterday when I set it up for the Thursday Hangout and made it members only. Apologies for that. Chloe may be zoned. Ha! That's good. We're going to be talking a little bit about Ron and I using our Gemini services in our fantasy baseball league. So, yes, GPEG, that was specifically aimed at you, because I know you were the one person who's like, I don't seem to be able to get in. If you want to go over to patreon.com/DTNS GPEG and verify that you can get into today's feed, because I made sure to click it's available to everybody. That would be helpful if you could confirm that one way or another. If you can't, no worries. But if you can, that would be helpful. This is the Terran Baseball Association. We run it through cbssports.com. It has been going on, as you can see, since 1988. From 1988 until 1990. It's been going on since 1984. I don't know why I don't have the earlier champions in there. Or maybe they only show the ones back to 88. Yeah, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's go into league history, maybe, because I think it's longer than that. It's been going since 1984. League champions. Let me get there. Huh. I'll have to go edit that. Why are we missing 4 champions? Anyway, it started on my Commodore 64 as a baseball league that was run through a computer program I made. And then it transitioned to micro league baseball, where we would draft our lineups based on last year's stats and then play them against each other in micro league baseball. And then in 2001, it took a long break from 1990 to 2001. We missed the 90s. It was a really long labor dispute. And then 2001 started back up on Yahoo Fantasy Sports. And I believe it was 2003 when we moved to what was then Sportsline's Fantasy Sports. Sportsline was then eventually bought by CBS Sports, and it's been CBS Sports ever since. But we've been doing it on the Sportsline / CBS Sports for nigh on 23 years now. The teams have moved around. We've shifted and had lots of different makeups of things, but largely in that time, it's been 14 to 16 teams. I think it's down to 13 right now. we play a head-to-head format. The head-to-head format means, let me see if I can show you an example here, that each team gets points based on what the players in your starting lineup have done. So this is spring training mode where you can test out lineups. This is really interesting. So you get to actually see how it works. So you can see players are getting stats over here. East Bay is who I'm playing, has these stats, and then they show up here. So my players cumulatively have scored 2 runs, and East Bays have scored 2 runs. Mine have scored none. So he's winning that category, and it accumulates over the course of the week. And then each team gets a win for each category it dominates, and it gets a tie if it is the same. So if we both hit the same number of home runs, we get a tie. Then you get your record: 4 wins, 4 losses, 4 ties, and you carry on from there. And for 7 days, and at the end of the 7 days, that becomes your record. And then you go into the standings and you see like, oh, okay, the team with the most wins obviously gets in front. So that we do that every week until 4 weeks before the end of the regular season. And then 4 weeks before the end of the regular season, we do the playoffs. And so certain teams get to make it into the playoffs. A bunch of other stuff in here. Batfink asks, do the Nats suck as much in fantasy baseball as they do in real life? Well, the nice thing is you get to combine people from different teams on your fantasy baseball team. So you could have the best Nats players and get rid of all the rest of them. Stopper pads? And GPEG, thank you for confirming that it's working today. Carpal pad? Carpal pad. Okay. Nay. Yeah. Earl Weaver baseball was fun too. Carpal pad or stopper pad? Okay, for the dog thing. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Annual entry fee. We've all been doing this for so long that I really enjoy when someone pays me the fee. I never go after them. So it varies. It's a sliding scale. There's no pot. There is a trophy out there somewhere that moves around. I don't know who has it. I used to be really good at keeping up, like, okay, make sure to send the trophy to the new winner. But yeah. We're not taking any new teams right now. We are currently at the level we want to be at. However, we did change this year. This was a rule suggested by Ron Richards that passed the rules committee to go relegation. Any of you European soccer fans know how this goes. We're doing a relegation system. So we have 2 major leagues and then a lower division league. The outright winner of the lower division gets elevated for the next season into one of the major leagues. There's a postseason tournament for the rest of that division to determine the second team that will get elevated. And then the bottom team in each of the major leagues gets relegated to the lower division. This is the first year we're doing that. I know it sounds super complicated, but it should be fun. So this is the WBL division is one of them that's got these 4 teams. My team is the Baltimore Browns. Ron's team is the Queens Delegates. And so whoever gets the worst record of these 4 teams, which will be either me or Ron, frankly. Forest Park is my friend Doug, who's a union organizer. Bombay is run by my friend Ned, who's a history professor. And they're both baseball geniuses. They're usually vying against each other from different leagues. This is the first year they're actually in the same division. So one of them is going to win this. And it'll be Baltimore and Queens trying to avoid getting relegated. And then the NABA division, Boston, East Bay, Hollywood, Manhattan, and then same thing. And then the Mondale League division is the lower division. So the outright winner amongst these will get to go into one of these other leagues. This isn't making any sense. Relegation in a U.S. league. I know. It's kind of fun. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. So what we're going to talk about today, though, is that we just had our draft, and in our draft, the way the way our system works is we have a salary cap. Every year that you keep a player, their salary goes up by 1. And their position in the draft determines their starting salary. So the first round starting salary is 10. And then if you kept that player next year, their salary would be 11. And the year after that, their salary would be 12, so on and so on. And then you have a maximum of 100 that you can keep at the end of any year. So that puts a bunch of players back into the pool, and then we all draft. That gives teams that maybe drew a bad hand a chance to get back into it really fast. Yes, it is the Walter Mondale League, Batfink, named after Vice President Walter Mondale, in honor of his stunning 1984 loss in the presidential election. Reverb Mike says, I just enjoy watching the games. That's cool. That's great. No shame on that. I also just enjoy watching the games. In fact, it is rare that I'm watching a game with an eye to my fantasy players. It's more like I'm watching a game. I'm like, oh, wait, this is my guy. Because I also enjoy watching the games. And if that's all you want to do, it's all good. No shame in that fantasy baseball game. Anyway, so this is the draft. You can see Manny Machado had been a free agent, got too expensive, got released back into the draft. Central Chicago nabbed him. But in this draft, you're trying to assess who the best free agents are in order to draft the best one for your team. So you're looking at who did I keep? What spots do I need to fill now? Because, you can only keep so many players. My situation was I had no relief pitchers. So I definitely needed to get a relief pitcher. But you don't want to draft too soon. First of all, that player is going to be more expensive to keep in the future, right? Because it's 10 for round 1, 9 for round 2, 8 for round 3. Also, you might end up missing a really good player that could help out your lineup if you do that. So if you'll notice, I needed a relief pitcher, but I drafted Mookie Betts in the first round because I knew Mookie wouldn't be around the next round if I didn't. And I figured relief pitchers would be, that people wouldn't be going after relief pitchers because they probably weren't all in the same situation as me having to go to them. Even if you don't like sports, I have a feeling maybe you can wrap your engineering head around this of like, oh, okay, so you had, this is similar to putting together a raid group, or just any kind of team to say like, oh, okay, so I'm working with other people, I'm gaming the system kind of situation. So yeah, I think that is what's going on. I think that makes it clear what's going on. Howard says, I did fantasy baseball 1 year with some office coworkers, and it took over all of my free time. I did win the league, so my record is perfect. Yeah, I know. Clinton says, nope, my engineering head has zero interest in sports ball, real or imagined. I'm not trying to say you'll get interested in this. What I'm trying to say is you'll understand the mechanics of it, the sort of the idea of like, looking, you have a need and there's a pool of resources and you need to figure out how to get the resources you need in a maximal way. That's essentially what we're talking about here. So put that way, hopefully it helps you be like, okay, that's a little more interesting than if I, had to put sports in it. That's no disrespect to sports. Okay. I like sports, but not everybody does. We can all agree. Everybody likes different things. So what Ron and I discovered on Monday when we were having dinner, because Ron was out here, okay, Clinton, you can go now then, I guess. Clinton's like, I get what you're saying, but I still don't care. That's fine. You could skip this episode. What Ron and I realized when we were at dinner on Monday was that we had both used Gemini, not just an LLM, but we had both used Gemini in order to figure out our strategy. So what we did there is we uploaded, because you can go in here and you can export a spreadsheet of all the free agents. So they let you export spreadsheets. You can kind of see it down there, the export. Let me get to the player stats situation here so you can see that. It's taking a while to load. Yeah, so these are the free agents. I've got all the free agent batters, and I can export that as an Excel spreadsheet, basically. That then I can upload to Gemini and say, hey, let me see if I can find where I actually uploaded stuff. But I could say, hey, here's all the free agent batters in my league. Here are all the free agent pitchers in my league. Here's my team. And I actually printed a PDF of the league rules. I'm like, here's how our league works. Can you tell me who I should draft? Wow, there's a lot more in here than I remembered. Hold on while I scroll back to the earliest part of this. Zoe says, I like sports if knitting a 26-foot Doctor Who scarf is a sport. It could be. Yeah. Ken Worf wants to know if Zoe speed knits. Hey, there's Ron Richards. Welcome.
Hello. Sorry I'm late.
I was just trying to inform people on what the TBA was, how it worked, and now I'm trying to scroll back in my Gemini chat history to find where it began. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm getting an echo. I don't know. Yeah.
I bet you don't have it now.
I don't have it now. You're right. There it is. I'm doing okay. It's an oddly busy Friday for me.
Yeah.
So I apologize.
Oh, well, thanks. No, thanks for taking a little time out of it then.
Hey, anything for you, Tom, man.
Oh, man. I was just saying how we were at dinner on Monday because you were in town and realized, oh, wait, we both used Gemini with our draft.
I was afraid to admit it. I will be honest.
We were both a little like, wait.
Yeah, I know. Well, because we had such a fun time we've been doing the fan. How long? I mean, I was honored when you invited me to join the league almost 10 years ago now. I think it was.
Yeah, has it been? Years, yeah.
And
wow. The league has its roots in 1984. On my Commodore 64. And then we restarted in 2001 on Yahoo Fantasy Sports and been on CBS Sports for like 23 years now.
That's crazy. So I do gotta ask you, because I got a ton of crap from one of my friends at dinner the next night.
Oh yeah.
Because I have a friend of mine, my friend Hank, who's from Chicago. I told you about him. He's a Cubs fan. And I was talking about our draft, and he's like, why do you guys draft so early? He's like, it's nonsense to be drafting this early in March. He's like, my draft doesn't happen until like the 25th or something like that, right? And so my question, why did we draft so early, Tom?
We did draft a little earlier than usual. I like to do the draft in the beginning of spring training.
Yeah.
Because that allows you to have a spring training as a fantasy owner.
Interesting.
So you're watching all these players, and there's, because we have roster limitations and there's only 10 rounds in the draft, there's a chance that you might spy somebody coming up in spring training, put them on your roster, and then it becomes as if you like scouted a person in spring training, right? There's a little cinema verite to that. Usually I do it like second, third week of March. I think the fact that we had the World Baseball Classic pushing things back kind of made me panic.
Yeah.
and the first Sunday in March was March 1st. So I'm just like, okay, we'll do it on March 1st. But yeah, I usually like to do it more like towards the middle of March.
Yeah.
But I don't like drafting like right before the beginning, because I think there is something fun about having a couple of weeks to just be like, oh, how are my players doing? Are they having a good spring? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
We could always change that. We could fix that through the rules.
I don't care. I mean, I don't mind, because as far as I'm concerned, I am both at the same time exhilarated and horrified by the draft every year, and both have the best draft and the worst draft of my life every year. And that's why. So it's funny. So going back to the topic of like, so we're at dinner and we're talking about it, and like I didn't say, like, while we were drafting, I didn't say anything to anybody about using Gemini.
Me either.
Or AI. I haven't said anything to anybody. I mean, admitting to you at dinner the other night was the first time I admitted to using AI about fantasy baseball. I used it last year, or tried to use it. I tried to use ChatGPT. Last year I had found someone who had made a GPT dedicated to baseball.
Oh, really?
And where was it? And what was it? It was called Fantasy Home Run Hero.
Okay.
And it was like, your go-to AI for dominating fantasy baseball leagues.
Okay.
Made by somebody by AIB or whatever. And it was fine. Obviously, I didn't have the best year last year, as you saw my strategy when I traded for all the draft picks.
Yeah, you had like twice the draft picks of everybody else in our league this year. It was crazy.
I did. Well, because the thing is, here's the thing about our league is that there's not a lot of chatter in our league. There's not a lot of discussion in our league. And I love trades. I love trading. And so I just got trade happy mid-season. Once I realized like I started off strong in the season and then I fell off a cliff. And then once I realized I had a bad couple of weeks, and once I realized that I dug myself in a hole that it was almost impossible to dig out based on the schedule, I was like, well, I'm just going to try to trade as much as I can to have fun. And then every trade, I'm going to try to get a draft pick in to help me next year. And that was my strategy going into it. And so I knew I had a lot of draft picks going into it and doing that. And so then coming in the off season, I was like, all right, well, I tried ChatGPT last year. I didn't like the results of it. So I'm like, well, because the whole thing with what I found with Gemini and with ChatGPT is that they're only as good as the knowledge that they have that they've scraped. Right. And so like, I found my first prompt in it where I said, how well do you know baseball players in Major League Baseballs? I said, I need to, because it was the keeper decision where we decide what players to keep and what players to drop. I said, I need to identify what players to keep in my fantasy league. I go, can you help me make those decisions? And of course, Gemini says, I can certainly help you with that. I have access to MLB statistics and projections, so I can analyze player value based on performance trends, age, and injury history. And then it asks for my roster, the keeper rules, and our league scoring, right? So I was like, all right. But what I realized is that all these AIs only know what's online.
Yeah.
And it at best, I mean, I don't know what percentage, at best 75% accuracy.
Yeah.
Because
and they're language models, not math models, right?
Yeah.
So they're kind of making up what they think is the best statistical analysis of your league.
Or they're basing off of, especially Gemini. Gemini scrapes so much off of YouTube. I think more than people realize.
Yeah.
And so they are watching videos of people doing mock fantasy drafts and then basing judgments off of those things. And those are just loudmouth people like us.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
With no stakes in that except being entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. So the great example that I got was, in our league, the pitcher Zach Wheeler, who's a former Cy Young Award winner or whatever, was dropped and was a free agent. And throughout the league, throughout the draft, it kept on telling me like, Zach Wheeler's a steal. He's still available. You got to drop him or whatever. And Gemini didn't know that Zach Wheeler's arm is busted.
Yeah.
Is old, is on the wrong side of it, and like might not start the season. And to the point where I had to tell Gemini, I'm like, stop suggesting Zach Wheeler. He's effed. Like, I do not want him. And like, oh yeah, you're right. I don't know why I was doing that. Like,
yeah, I drafted him. Expected to be out until at least April 10th.
No, he's not. He's longer.
No, he's going to be out longer. I drafted him late though. I was like, let me take a flyer on him. You never know.
I want to find.
But to your point, well, first of all, I want to point out with ChatGPT, I was trying to get it to do the agent thing on Atlas. And it was like, I was signed in, you went to a sign-in page, and then you stopped. And he's like, yeah. So what happened was, and then I just get all of this stuff, and I'm like, okay, forget it. I'm switching to Gemini. So with Gemini, I just said, here are the projections of here are the free agents, batters and pitchers. Here's my roster. I also gave it our league, like I did a PDF of our league, like stats, and then said, create a draft for me. Cause or not the league stats, but the league details page has all the draft picks and everything.
Yep.
And it did a decent job, with 13 teams in your specific draft flights, based on the data. Freddie Freeman will almost certainly. And so it created this strategy, and I had to be like, okay, revised the draft recommendations based on what players are likely to be available. Because it told me basically like, yeah, get the 4 best players with your 4 first picks. I'm like, yeah, none of those will be available. I have the 6th pick.
Interesting. I didn't do that. That's really interesting because what I did was hang on a second, because I managed a trade. Where is it? I did my drops, and then I did a trade, and then I did the draft.
And then as soon as I gave it that stat, it's like, oh, okay. So I bet these guys, Machado will be gone. You're right. Freeman will probably be gone. Yeah. You should go after Harper or Betts if they're available. And I'm like, now we're talking. Okay. And so then I'm like, so once the draft starts, can I feed you what players get taken and get a reassessment of who to take in real time? Did you do that?
No, I didn't. Thank you. Yes, I did. I tried to, but it was hard to keep up. We didn't have enough time because we only had 1:30 with the picks, right? And so I had no way of giving it. And also the CBS tool was not very easy to copy and paste. So I lost track.
Yeah, no, I was handwriting everything.
Yeah.
So you see, I'm just like, number 1, Machado. And then it gives me like, okay, so Bryce Harper. I'm like 2, Fried. 3, Sale. 4, higher. I started putting them in batches.
Yep.
And then it kept up pretty good. I took Betts and it was able to keep track. Okay, great. You've got Betts. Awesome. Perdomo. Darn it. That was a good pick. I should have gone Perdomo instead of Betts now that I look back. But I was paying attention to this too much. But I kept it up for a while. You can see I'm just putting them in like, okay, I'm just putting last names in. It was tough to keep up. But it's able to say like, okay, now that's I would recommend you go with this, you go with that.
Yep. So here we go. So I found because I had to find, because I don't like the fact that Gemini doesn't give me dates.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to find like the
you
date.
You have to do a search. You don't remember when.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, so because I kept on talking about it, whatever. So here it is. I said, okay, where is it? I'm sorry. This is great television to watch me scrolling through my thing. I said, okay, so what I did was I exported the CSV of every pitcher and batter available in the draft. And I said, okay, my draft is today. Attach are the exports of the players available to draft, pitchers and batters. Any last minute changes to our plan or strategy. And it said, okay, the updated projections confirm our core strategy remains completely intact, but the rankings have slightly shifted, opening up even more value for you. Here are the key takeaways from the update. Zach Wheeler's ranking got even worse. This is a complete glitch in the matrix. You must exploit this. I just ignored it. Corey Seager moved up to rank 71. Mookie Betts is available at shortstop. Here's your finalized minute-by-minute draft strategy. Okay, round 1, the Superstar Foundation. It said pick number 1, Manny Machado. He remains the highest ranked player available and fills your biggest void perfectly. He went first, right? Like to your point, I didn't think about it. He's going to go. But what it did was I said, for every pick, give me a pivot pick.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's smart.
So I said, give me who to pick when I don't get it. And it said the pivot. If he snatch early, take Mookie Betts or Bryce Harper. And then your second pick, Chris Sale, and then pivot Max Fried. None of those guys were available. Right?
That's about the same advice it was giving me, honestly. And even though I gave it my team and said, like, help me fill in the gaps here. Yep. One thing it was saying is like, you need to get relief pitchers because it knew it could look and say like, oh, you don't have any relief pitchers.
Yeah,
you need to add one.
It said to me, final reminder, do not draft outfielders. Your outfield is already elite. Stick to infield and pitching.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was kind of doing the same with me. So that part of the analysis was really helpful.
Yep.
It did get to a point where it was telling me to take people that weren't available in the draft.
Oh, jeez. I never got that.
It said, you should take Cade Smith. He's a great reliever. I was like, I don't see Cade Smith. So once we got past pick 60, it started to get shaky. It's like its context was getting strained and it wasn't able to actually remember everything that it had told me before. For instance, it told me to take Bregman. You should go after Alex Bregman. And I was like, yeah, I have Bregman at third base. Got it. With Alex Bregman locked in at third base. you should go for Michael Massey, the second baseman. I was like, yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. Like suddenly it got weird.
What I love the moment it gets weird. So after the first round, I said everyone was gone by my first pick. So I went with Geraldo Perdomo first and then Framber Valdez. And he goes, that's a fantastic pivot under pressure. You didn't panic when the top of the board got wiped out.
Okay, thanks, Gemini.
You successfully locked down an elite speed and batting average at shortstop with Perdomo and grabbed a guaranteed workhorse ace at Framber Valdez. since the room is drafting incredibly aggressively and wiping out the top ranks, we're throwing out the wait until round 4 rule for Zach Wheeler. We need to strike now. And so it's like, your next pick, Zach Wheeler, all caps, do not wait.
It cannot stop. Wow. Yeah, so then, it didn't push Wheeler on me that hard.
So then
it suggested Wheeler later on when I was like, oh, okay, now that makes sense.
So then I said, okay, I got Yuri Perez. Zach Wheeler's shoulder is effed. He's going to suck this year. And he goes, good call. I'm pivoting away from Wheeler. It's like, you know what Gemini is? Gemini is Steve and Edie to my Frank Sinatra. It's like, you got
totally.
That right. You got that right, Frank.
You got that right, boss. It suggested that I draft Ketel Marte at one point, who is also on my roster. It was a keeper from last year.
Yeah.
I was like, Ketel Marte is on my roster. My apologies for the confusion. It's easy to lose track and to draft this fast with Ketel Marte and Alex Bregman already on your roster. Like, okay, I'm going to stop paying attention to you now.
So
and it had been pushing Robert Garcia, and then it was like, you should take this other Holds person. I'm like, what about Garcia? They're like, Robert Garcia is an absolute target. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm definitely done.
So after the second round, I dumped all the picks. And it said, the room is drafting incredibly aggressively, and your third round target just got signed by the Boston Bullets. Because the pitching tier is drying up fast, they also took your top infield pivots. We need to adapt quickly. So they told me to grab Brandon Lowe, which I did. It said, grab Lowe right now. And then it said, pitching pivot, Trey Yasavage, who somebody else took, which I wanted. I was so mad. And then I said, I got Brandon Lowe. It said, perfect. And then wanted me to take Spencer Torkelson, somebody else took. No, it's told me to take Torkelson or Savage next. And I said, they're both gone.
Yeah.
And it said, don't panic. The draft room is hyper aggressive right now, but we have a built-in safety net. It wanted me to take Aranda or Pipo or King. I said, Pipo's gone. I'm going to aim for King or Ranger Suarez. Then it told me to take King over Suarez. So I took King. So that was like, it was good for like, I was doing this or that. Like I was trying to decide between Aranda or Jorge Polanco, and it said Aranda. And then I said Aranda got sniped. And then then it told me to grab Wilson Contreras or Christian Walker. So I got Christian Walker. That's a phenomenal save. And then it really wanted me to get Teoscar Hernandez, but then he got took. And then it wanted me to get Royce Lewis. And then
it's funny that a lot of the same names it was telling me to get, it was telling you to get, which I guess should make sense. Some players are just like the best player, and we have overlapping needs, even though we have slightly different roster needs.
And then I went and got Jacob Wilson as a prospect. It's like, great pick. And then it wanted me to get Nathan Eovaldi and Sonny Gray. I'm like, they're both gone. And then that is brutal.
Here's my favorite one. Look at this one. After the 87th pick, I put in Murakami, Contreras, and Stewart had been taken. Gemini responded, El draft se está moviendo hacia una fase de alto riesgo. It went in Spanish suddenly.
That's amazing.
For the entire thing. And then I wrote, in English, please. My apologies for the language slip. I'm back in English. The draft is moving into high risk, high reward.
That's amazing. So it kept on telling me to take pictures and bats, and it gave me a list of players, and they were all gone. And so I'm just like, guys are all gone. And it said, this draft room is in complete panic over pitching. And then it gave me more, and I was trying to decide between players, and then I noticed that Munetaka Murakami was still available. And I said, what about Murakami? And he says, Murakami is an incredible pivot if you want to swing for the fences. and then it was comparing between Wilson Contreras and Murakami, and I took Murakami. And then it was pushing Zach Gallen on me.
It kept changing its recommendation for relief pitchers too on me. At one point I was like, it said, you should draft Robert Garcia. You have a legendary starting rotation. Locking in a high volume closure now ensures you're elite. And I was like, wait, what about Hunter Harvey, who you were pitching? You were saying the same exact thing about last round. It said, Hunter Harvey is another elite holds target.
You see, that's the thing is like and this is a problem with Gemini and also ChatGPT. They haven't coded in any negativity or contrarianism.
Well, they filtered it out.
Yeah.
If you remember back a couple of years ago, everybody was like, wow, my ChatGPT got really nasty with me and was mean and stuff. And so all of them have like erred on the side of being positive and friendly because they don't want that to happen.
Right. I would just like some level of point counterpoint, or like understanding the other side of it. And like,
or just take some emotion out, just just cut it down, just the facts, ma'am.
So like then we crashed CBS and the draft died. And so then I sent it my roster, and this roster turned out absolutely incredible. You successfully executed the pitching plan, and your infield strategy worked perfectly to cover every position with upside. And then it's telling me who to cut.
Yeah. Well, and that was the other thing. I did the same thing where I was like, okay, here are the free agents. Here's the roster. What should I do to strengthen this lineup? And it told me to add Zach Wheeler. No, I'm kidding. It told me to go after a couple of. It told me to go after 3 players, 2 of whom I got. Or no, 1 of whom I got. But it also told me to drop one of the people, Jojo Romero, that it had told me during the draft, like, this is an elite holds person. You got to have Jojo Romero. And then it's like, you should drop Jojo Romero. I was like, wait, Jojo Romero is projected to have 39 holds though. And it was like, thank you for providing the full team projections. You're absolutely right to point out Jojo Romero's value. But the system's rank doesn't tell the whole story, as his 39 projected holds make him an elite specialist. However, and then it actually pushed back. And it was like, you know what? I think Robert Garcia would be a better pick. I was like, but you told me not to get Robert Garcia during the draft. So anyway, yeah.
It's so funny. So I'm exporting every team's roster, and I'm going to ask you who is the better team.
I thought about doing that. I thought about saying, like, here are the other team's rosters, and here are the free agents. Here's mine. Looking at them, what's the best pick that I could make to get an advantage over them? Although, with our relegation system this year, maybe I need to just focus on the people in my division. That's
a good idea. Yeah. Well, but because I don't think you need to focus on the people in your division, because you're not playing the people in your division.
Well, no, you're right, because we're playing everybody.
You're playing everybody.
You just need to win.
So the question is, how do we use Gemini for the rest of the season? Because really, it's got to be like, how do I match up against this team week to week and exploit their weaknesses? That's really
I guess you want to always put the free agent spreadsheets in,
right?
Then you want to put your team and the team you're playing and saying, okay, I'm matching up against them. I want to win. What moves could I make to improve that?
Right.
Reverb Mike says, isn't getting help from AI spoiling the game?
No, because how different is this than how different is this than the baseball teams watching tape of the other team, right? This is using data and a tool to analyze the data to help you make decisions, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think, Tom?
I think it would be spoiling the game if it gave us an unfair advantage.
Right.
If suddenly, if for instance, we were the only ones who had access to this, and it was so good that we just ran away with the league. I think it could spoil the game a little bit if everybody was using it and it was so good that it was like, well, there's just no room for me to make a decision. I just do what the AI says, and then I'll win, kind of thing. It doesn't play out that way, as we have demonstrated. Maybe it gets good enough in the future where that becomes a problem, but right now it's more of a like, okay, this is helping me form my thoughts. It's kind of narrowing down the information for me so that I can go, wait a minute, but I think Jojo Romero is somebody good to have on my team. Let me push back on that.
Because the thing about baseball and what I love, and this is, I get into an argument with my buddy Hank also too, is because baseball is, and fantasy baseball is all about numbers, and it's all about performance, and it's all about like stats and things like that. But baseball also is about gut. And it's all about like over the season, a player is going to drive a certain number of hits and a certain number of home runs and all that sort of stuff. but I'll be like, well, the Mets are playing the Pirates and they always do better against the Pirates. And so I think the players are going to perform.
And you never actually know what's going to happen.
And you never actually know what's going to happen. Right. Yeah.
So I don't think it gives anyone an unfair advantage. It's just a tool that may or may not be useful to help you form your opinion. So Reverb Mike says it's like using steroids. I don't think it's like using steroids. Steroids definitely make you stronger. And I don't know that this makes you stronger. And also, you're not supposed to use steroids. There's no rule in our league against using this. Everybody's free to use it.
So I have the analysis of the league from Gemini, which I think it's fucking crack. But so this is very funny. Based on the standard 5x5 rotisserie scoring.
Standard 5x5 rotisserie is not what we're playing, though.
I know. I totally forgot our score.
That context window, it always bites you.
All right, let me fix that then. Let me fix. Let me
no. Tell me what it said before we fixed it. We can compare.
So based on the standard 5x5 scoring, I ran the math on every single team's total projections. The crown for the best team currently belongs to the Boston Bullets with 99.5 points.
Defending champs. Okay.
Here are projected standings. Boston Bullets 99.5. East Bay Executioners at 91.5.
Oh, wow.
Baltimore Browns with 88.5.
Really?
Your team, Queens Delegates, tied for fifth with 81.5.
Okay.
You finished fifth overall, but that overall score doesn't tell the whole story. Bold.
No.
You drafted the most terrifying offense in the entire league. Look at how your offense ranks against the 13 teams.
You're the best, boss.
Home runs, first in the league. RBI, first in the league. Runs, second in the league. Batting average, fifth in the league. Your team is essentially the 1927 Yankees of the league. You're going to completely steamroll. No, I'm not. However, your pitching projection fooled you down to fifth place.
Yeah, actually, I like this, Larry. This is a good comparison. Larry says, anyone can do what AI does by themselves. AI just does it faster. Using a nail gun instead of a hammer to build a house isn't cheating.
I can't believe I forgot. Like, I gave it the rule. Like, that's what pisses me off. That in this chat, like months ago, I gave it our rules.
And it just forgot them. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you just say, like, can you reevaluate them using our rules? And it go, oh, right, I do know those rules.
I might not have given it this rules. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I might compare it to using an aluminum bat versus a wooden bat. Aluminum bat makes the ball pop more. Some leagues allow it. Major League Baseball has not.
I didn't give it our rules. I totally lied.
Well, there you go.
This is the human issue.
Yeah.
It asked for the rules. I just didn't give it to
him.
Yeah, PEBCAC. All right, I'm going to find the rules. So,
but yeah, I think this is a really good question, though, the Reverb Mike. Like, I can see why it would seem like cheating. And especially if it was not available to everyone. But I think my bigger reason for it not being cheating is that it doesn't automatically mean you're going to win. Like, it's going to tell you things that could be helpful but might not be. And at least Ron and I, most people are going to be like, I'm not just going to do whatever it says, especially because it's not perfectly knowledgeable. And then I think the biggest point is the gut thing that you mentioned, where like, there's going to be situations that defy expectations. There are people that take off and have hot years and people that should have great years that don't. Yeah. And so of that element of it makes it fun.
And then there are people you decide to keep as opposed to drop, and then they get banned for the season because they take performance enhancing drugs. So,
speaking of steroids and other performance enhancing drugs.
Steroids and Profar again.
Yeah. It's
painful. See, I posted that in the chat. Nobody laughed at me in the league chat when I tried to trade Profar.
Everyone's like, oh yeah,
I know.
No thanks.
But
I actually I had to deal with that with Tatis.
Yep.
But I didn't drop him because I'm like, well, he's going to come back and he's going to be really good.
After that, I dropped him. Yeah.
Sure. But Profar, Tatis and Profar are two different situations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the thing is that, again, like, I'm not doing exactly everything what it says, Okay, so I gave it our league scoring categories.
Yeah.
And it says this completely changes how we evaluate your team.
Everything's different now.
The updating standings, I'm still in fifth. So I didn't change the standings. You're in second.
Oh.
But I'm actually favorite to win the championship now.
Wow. Even though you're the fifth. Huh. Well, okay, here's another part of this that makes an LLM difficult in like being a lock on like use the LLM and you'll win.
Yep.
You don't know who's going to get injured, right? So this came to my head just now because I wondered, I wonder if you give it our schedule, would it be able to make an estimate of based on the schedule, who would win?
Yeah.
But that's still going to be inaccurate because people are going to get injured. People are going to like drop players that aren't doing well and pick up free agents that are doing well. And that's going to change everything. That's going to change everything.
Of who I'm going to play week to week.
John, now you got this in my head, G. James B. John Henry had a little baby sitting on his daddy's knee.
My other favorite thing about dealing with this stuff is that I could just copy and paste stuff. I don't need to worry about like line breaks.
Yeah. Do you not do the export? You can export.
No, I just copy and paste the can you do the export of the schedule too?
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know on the schedule. Maybe not. But I've been exporting like all the free agent stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I do that.
No, the schedule you just have to.
Yeah, I copy and paste that. Yeah. So. I don't know. It's just I think it's fun and silly. I mean, the whole thing of this is a game and it's fun and silly, but it's like I mean, it's the same thing. Like I was telling you over dinner. I'll tell everyone watching. I went to Disney World in early January, and I used Gemini to basically guide our adventures through the various areas, and it was telling me like how to get from point A to point B, and like giving me tips, and like it was like the fourth person on the trip. And it's just and the faux enthusiasm and the language, like the language of the language model is just so entertaining and just so very funny.
The over enthusiastic, like, wow, your league is going crazy right now. It's like,
so this is
clearly trained on clickbait headlines, these LLMs.
So this is why this is all BS, because I gave it our weekly schedule, right?
Yeah.
And it's projecting that I'm going to go 18-3.
Wow. That would be very disappointing.
Has anyone ever won 18 weeks? I don't think anyone's ever.
I thought you meant your final record would be 18-3 when we get
I'm sorry, like of the weeks. Like I would win.
Oh, you're going to win 18 of the 21 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's given my overall category record would be 156, 90, and 6.
Did it count the 2 bye weeks?
No, yeah.
As wins?
I don't know.
Oh no, I guess there's 21 weeks with the 2 bye weeks because there's 23 weeks total.
Yeah. So what
wow,
was
yeah. Okay.
What was
I mean, okay, you could go 6-5, 6-5, 6-5, win 18 weeks, but actually end up third in your division, right?
Yeah.
Because winning a week is not the same as winning. Like there's a difference between winning 11 games in a week and winning, sometimes people only win 5 games in a week and still win the matchup because it's 5-4 and
where's the annual standings? Where can I see those?
The annual standings?
Yeah. Under standings. There you go.
Yeah.
It's right in the nav right there.
Oh yeah. And then you just change the year. Yeah.
All right. So last year, just for reference, last year I went 131 and 133 and 24.
Yeah.
And so it's projecting I'm going to go 156 and 90 and 6.
Wow.
And the Boston Bullets who went 176 and 115 and 21. So it's doable. I mean, it's
achievable.
It's
certainly.
Achievable. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's not totally out there. Yeah.
We have to look at the fact that we're doing relegation this year though.
Right. Yeah. Relegation is going to be fun.
So it's going to be either Forest Park or Bombay versus Boston in the final.
Yeah.
It's just a question of whether it's going to be me or you that gets relegated in the WPL.
It's projecting my only losses to the Boston Bullets or the Executioners.
Wow. You're a monster team.
Yeah.
See, now I wonder what it would say if you gave it my lineup. It would be like, oh yeah, Baltimore's going to go 18-3. They're going to win the whole thing.
I know. Yeah. I have your lineup. What is Baltimore's?
Oh, they'll come in just behind you, Ron.
Projected record.
I think this is a really good example of how these tools are useful because it's not that they are determinative, but they're not useless. They definitely gave me indications of like, oh, okay, yeah, these, given my roster, relief pitchers probably will last. And then when people started picking relief pitchers, Gemini noticed. It was like, okay, there's a run on relief pitchers. We need to redo our priorities and make a relief pitcher your next pick. Because I didn't think that many people would pick relief pitchers this early. And I was like, okay, yeah, yes, I would have noticed that, but it's the kind of thing that really clarifies it. I'm like, all right, you're right. Let's focus in on relief pitchers for this next pick.
Right. All right. So,
thank you, Zoe. I'm glad.
Oh wait, I give Baltimore. I gave them your schedule. Hang on.
Oh yeah. What is my schedule? I don't even know my schedule.
Baltimore Browns.
I haven't really looked at it.
You play East Bay first.
That's the other thing is I don't tend to look at my schedule, and this is the kind of thing where I'm going to be like, look at my schedule and see if there's anything I should be concerned with. It'll say like, well, you've got this one stretch where you're against tough teams. You might want to bump your pitching up. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. I'll do that.
I mean, my general strategy before AI in fantasy baseball, as you know, like get as many 2-start pitchers as possible.
Yeah.
Just flood the zone, you know what I mean? Just like do that and make sure you're starting people who are never have any, like always be getting stats. That's it.
Yep.
Like that,
but ABC.
The problem
always be
ABS. Yeah.
ABS. Always be statting.
But the problem with that is that when you get always getting stats, if you're getting bad stats, then you do horribly. Yeah. So Tom, I've got great news for you.
Oh yeah. What's the great news, Ron?
Your record is going to be 170, 80, and 2.
Wow. No kidding.
You're only going to have two weeks.
Only 2 weeks where I lose?
You're going to have 17 wins, 2 losses, and 2 ties.
Is it my 2 games against Queen's Delegates? Ron Richards' team?
Baltimore is predicted to finish with an absurdly good 170, 80, and 2 category record, which likely put them in first place in the standings. However, their only 2 losses are to your team.
But they can't compare to you, Ron. Can't compare to you, boss.
They just don't have the sheer power, RBI, or total base output to compete with your historic offense. If you face them in the playoffs, you have their number.
Well, you are the 1927 Yankees, so you know.
Just everybody wins all the time. It's just like this world. It's like this is a movie where nothing goes wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is it's so weird.
Oh, your friend Tom? He'll do great, but not as good as you, Rob.
And this is the flaw with AI. That's the flaw.
Yeah.
Everything is sunshine and roses.
Too much. It's a little too much sunshine.
Oh,
a little too much roses.
I love baseball though. It's so much fun. But that's the thing is that I don't think it can do a like who should I start or who's better at this position.
No.
It'll look at the stats, but it lacks the gut that we have.
It feels like, for me anyway, it will be good at telling me which free agents are worth looking at. Not even as far as like which free agents to pick up, but to say like, so-and-so Jose Caballero is not having a great season, but this third baseman from Milwaukee is available. So you might want to consider swapping him out. And then I can go look at that, and decide whether I agree or not, versus just having to sort by stats. Or one of the things I do is look at the roster trends where it'll tell you like everybody's picking up this person, but I'm like, that's just going to tell me who everybody thinks is hot based on buzz. That's not necessarily somebody who's doing well. So this is another one of those where I can just say, okay, narrow it down for me. Give me a few options to look at. And I think it's pretty good at that. It's pretty good at saying, oh, these are players with good stats recently that probably, will fill a hole for you. Yeah. And then I can decide which ones actually I think are worthwhile.
The one thing I didn't do in this draft and I haven't done in this spring training period yet is that I haven't gotten like, and this is one of the best things about fantasy baseball is like when you get that prospect or that young player that is going to break out, that everyone's like, oh, I wish I'd gotten him.
Yeah.
I didn't get that this year. Like last year I got him with Roman Anthony, who really hasn't even broken out. And during the season I got him with Kyle Stowers. I was happy I picked him up from the Marlins, right?
Yeah.
But like this so far this spring, I haven't gotten the the name that everyone's going to be like, oh, I wish, or even a couple of years ago when I picked up Brent Rooker. That was one where I was like, oh, that was a good get. Like you feel like you did your work.
You always feel good about that stuff. I've had Fernando Tatis since he was in the minors.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Like I picked him up as a minor leaguer and protected him for 2 or 3 years before he got brought up. Wow. And so that's one where I'm like, oh yeah, no, I did a good job with that one. Bobby Witt, same way. I picked him up as a minor leaguer. I think I only had him in the minor leagues for a year.
Yeah.
But that is one of the things. Gemini was like, oh, you have Leo DeVries and Walker Jenkins, and you only have one minor league slot. So you should drop DeVries. And I'm like, let's see what happens in spring training. Like,
well, that's why I haven't dropped anybody yet, because I've got, I've got a bunch of, who's going to be injured, who's going to be on the IL. Right. And that's where I'm like, okay, who's, and who can I pick up? Who am I going to drop? Who, So
I've got an illegal roster.
Me too. Yeah.
But I also, I also have Zach Wheeler. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No problem. I'll be able to put somebody on the IL.
Yeah.
Howard tells me Zach Wheeler will be fine by mid-April.
Oh, jeez. I don't know about that. He might be fine by mid-April, but he's not going to be what he was.
He won't be. I don't expect him to be what he was either. But he will fill a slot. Yeah. For me, I've got Yoshinobu. I've got Logan Webb. I feel decent about that.
I'm so mad because I didn't get I was about to draft Connolly early when the crash happened, and I didn't get him. So
because somebody else got him in the
they had him next in the thing, and I'm like annoyed at that. So.
Well, and then there's Manhattan drafting Connor Griffin in the second round.
I mean that's good drafting on his part,
Is it though? Like it's great that he has him. If anybody doesn't know, this guy's like a superstar prospect.
Yeah.
Everybody expects him to have a huge year. And yet you've got him at a 9 salary.
Yeah.
That means like he will be a 10 salary next year. Like he's going to get real expensive. Now, granted, that's something you won't have to deal with until a couple of years from now, but he'll be harder to keep because he's worth more than if you had got him in a later round where you get him at 5.
Yeah. I was very, I had a thought and I just lost it.
Howard is asking who got Ranger Suarez.
Who did he get?
I don't remember who has Ranger Suarez. I don't think he was drafted. I think he was already on. Oh yeah.
I had him.
He's on Scottsdale.
I had him last year and he was great, but he trailed off. I was very happy with in the off season. I think I'm the only person who made an off season trade, if I remember correctly. And I forgot who I traded with, but he offered me. I got Edward Cabrera, and I traded Joe Adele, but he had offered me either Pablo Lopez or Edward Carrera. And Gemini was like, get Pablo Lopez. He's an ace, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I like the Twins. I'm not feeling good about what the Twins are going on with their organization and all this sort of stuff. And I went with Cabrera, and then Lopez is out for the season. I was like, if I'd made an off-season trade and the guy I got was out for the season, that would have made me very upset.
Yeah, you did that on January 23rd too, like a week before the drop deadline.
Yeah, that was fun.
Those are risky trades.
I love making trades, man. That's what being fan. That's what fantasy baseball is all about.
I'm going to ask Gemini what trade I should make with you.
Yeah. Let's see. I will trade.
Let's let Gemini negotiate our trade.
We need to figure out how to incentivize trades through the season.
Yeah,
like if there's some way to get like a bonus first round pick if you make trades or something. I don't know. Crazy.
Yeah. Or just an award for best trade.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to figure out how you can goose this.
Well, I was glad to hear that you were experimenting with Gemini because I like to experiment with this stuff to see what it's good for. And I think a lot of the reaction, it could be like, oh, well, but did it work? Right. Did it help? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if it actually ended up helping or not, but I certainly learned a lot about different ways to think about my draft and also ways to think about Gemini and how it works. I have a better understanding of how it works now and what its context menu is and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I don't know. I'm using Gemini more and more for just like nonsense. I honestly, it's becoming more and more it's replacing search. It's like just dumb questions. You know what I mean? Like like it's kind of fascinating to see how it's like creeping its way into my workflow.
Well, yeah, I actually have gone from being annoyed by AI mode to consulting it and diving in deeper with it more often, because it's gotten better. It's gotten a lot better. It doesn't, tell me to put glue on my pizza at all anymore. Not even once. And it's showing sources in a way that's been useful. For a while, not even that long ago, it would show sources and I'd be like, yeah, but those sources don't say what you're implying they say. Those are not sources for the thing you put them next to. That's starting to go away. And a great example was I've been trying to nail down what is the process for declaring a company a supply chain risk because of the whole thing with Anthropic and the Department of Defense.
Yeah, interesting.
And it gave me a very good explanation, which I understood, and more importantly, sent me to a citation at a law firm that had just written up an analysis of their own that I was like, oh, this is what I need. This is like an expert source that tells me all of the things that I need to know. And so it wasn't so much what Gemini came up with, although that's sort of helping wrap my head around it a little more. I found the primary source I needed. And I actually reached out and said, hey, would one of you be willing to talk? I haven't heard back from them. But even if I don't hear back from them to interview them, I have this source where I can say, oh, this law firm that does, supply chain logistics posted this as their advisement to people on how, what to expect. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you can declare a supply chain risk, but it's not defensible until you've done these things. And it doesn't look like they've done those things. So we have to wait for that. And anyway, gets in the weeds from there, but
interesting. Yeah. Interesting. I used Gemini this morning because we just caught up and we watched the industry finale. And I asked Gemini, I said, in finance, how does one make money on a short? Because I know what a short.
Oh, like shorting a stock.
Yeah. I didn't quite know exactly.
I thought you meant a YouTube short.
And it explained the whole. Yeah. Well, how do you make money on a YouTube short? No, on shorting stock, and it explained the whole thing. And I was like, okay, now I get it. So. And
I find it's most helpful with something where you know enough to tell if it's making sense.
Right.
And it's just filling in the gaps. You're like, okay, I knew it was something like that, and that's the thing that it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Filling in the gaps is like with the more detail. That's what I need. So,
yeah.
That said, unfortunately I need to run because
I need
to go take my I need to take my daughter to Girl Scouts. So
good luck selling cookies.
We did that already.
You're done.
I think now reached your goal. I think it's I think some sort of like social responsibility.
Okay.
Like
all right.
Yeah. Well, so if you need more,
good luck being responsible.
If you need more Girl Scouts, you can buy them online. If you need more cookies,
cookies, not
Girl Scouts. It's Friday, man.
Yeah, no worries, man.
It's the end of the day here in New York. It's clearly.
Yeah. Thanks for taking the time, though. This was fun. I really appreciate it.
Likewise. Anytime talking baseball, we should do a mid-season check-in. We should.
Let's do that.
All-Star break.
I love it. Yeah, All-Star break's perfect. Let's count on it. All right, man.
Enjoy the WBC.
See ya. Right. Go Mets to Ron. When did Ron? No, Howard. No. Buy your Girl Scouts now. Hey, they're not for sale, but their cookies are, and we have plenty of them. So I'm not thinking that I'll need some more of them. Well, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, look, even Clinton stuck around, so it must have had some entertainment value. Thank you, Clinton, for sticking around. And I think it does give a little insight into how these things work, even if it's, not your particular, reason for using it. There could be other things that it's pretty close to. All right. Any other questions? It's just me for a couple of minutes before we're out of here, or we can wrap up early, but I always like doing a little Q&A on these things. Amos, you can join now. It's safe. We won't talk about baseball anymore. Amos has an allergy. It's a condition he has. He breaks out in the presence of baseball, even just talk about it. So yeah, it's I'm glad you still hung out as well, Amos. I agree with you, Howard. Baseball is life. GPEG wants to know why Amos hates baseball. That is a question I will leave Amos to explain to you. either now or in the future. But yeah, thanks to Reverb Mike. And thanks again for that question, because that is the question. Like, is this cheating? Because I think about that too. And I wouldn't want to do it if I thought it was. Oh, okay. JPEG, your wish has been granted. Amos is here to answer why he hates America's pastime. And then we'll get into why he hates apple pie and Chevrolet. But first, baseball.
Well, first of all, you're wrong on apple pie. I won't comment on Chevrolet or GM in general. Anyway, I always found baseball to be boring. I never found it to be super exciting. The stories, because a lot of when you're watching sport, it's the stories around the sport that get you involved with it.
Sure.
The potential trades and who's doing good here and who's not doing good and what they specialize in. I've always been more of a football person than a baseball person. And the pacing of baseball is just so slow that it never would hold my attention.
You're too impatient for baseball.
Yes. It's gotten better now that they have a pitch clock.
Yeah.
Because now at least I know there's an end.
Well, and they did a bunch of studies, and I'm glad they went with the pitch clock, because what they found was games were shorter in the 80s and before because pitchers didn't take as long. For whatever reason, there's 100 different theories about why. Pitchers just started to take longer between their pitches. And they said, really, if we just get pitchers to throw the ball pretty much, shortly after they get it back, after throwing a pitch, these games will go back to being 2 hours like they used to be. And they've largely been right.
Yeah. It's always been a toss-up for me because I love softball.
But why do you hate baseball? You always say it in all caps.
Well, I think of baseball similar to how I think of golf. It's a waste of time on my valuable television that I could be learning anything other than the boring, placid activity that's happening on the screen.
Yeah. Because every other sport is just so enriching.
It's just because I find it more interesting.
Yeah.
My family was a baseball
you've
family.
Got
my grandma
is it just because
it.
So many other people like it that you just had to, in opposition, develop a stronger reaction to it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Very similar to Cowboys and to Texas in general.
When you lived
Ohio
in
State University, I don't even know where Ohio State University is, but I don't like them because every time someone mentions them, I think so. It might be in Michigan though, because they're just as crazy about their college teams.
Well, see, I hate Michigan, but that's only because I went to the University of Illinois.
Oh, there's that. I grew up near Purdue, so it's like my default, even though I don't know anything really about much of
hating another team that you compete with is a compliment. Like, you don't hate the teams that lose to you all the time. You kind of like them because you win.
So, complicated relationship with the Cowboys on that one, because in the 90s they were the Niners' enemies. The nemesis, the thing holding back from.
Yeah.
So it developed that became a thing, but now I just laugh about the Cowboys because they haven't won a playoff game in 30 years. Since the time when they were the nemesis of the 49ers, they haven't won a play.
Yeah.
Now, my team, the Niners, haven't won a Super Bowl in that same span. So but at least they've gotten there.
Yeah. I wonder how I'd feel about the Dodgers if I hadn't married into them, because Eileen grew up a Dodger fan. She is a legitimate Dodger fan, not a bandwagoner. She hid her Dodger fandom for many years, but she's never not been a Dodgers fan. And so, I support her, and I really think Dodger Stadium is one of the best places to see a baseball game. I think even you would enjoy your time, because there's so many things you could do that wouldn't involve watching the game. And if you want to watch the game, it's also great for that. Like, it was built for that, and you can tell. And it's just got that classic 60s architecture. It was built in the I want to say like early 60s, but let me get the actual.
Okay. So they haven't built a new one since like the 90s.
In the Dodger Stadium?
Yeah.
No, Dodger Stadium was built in 1960. Where is it? I thought I could just fake it until 59 is when they broke ground, and it opened at 62.
Okay. So I've actually been there then. I watched a Dodgers game. I watched the Philadelphia Phillies beat the Dodgers 9-5.
Oh, okay. Wow. What year was that?
Yes.
Yeah. You remember the score though. That's amazing.
I only remember the score because I actually wrote it on the ball that I got as a souvenir that day.
Yeah, you hate baseball. I can tell.
And I think that ball ended up being a yard ball. Later on when I had dogs, it was
That's
one of
great.
those balls that would throw around. Yeah, but again, I love softball and I love like backyard baseball.
Yeah,
you know, when it's just
like
fun and everybody's having a good time, and there's not this minute and a half wait for the next pitch while we're all eagerly anticipating.
The space between. One of the things I did always admire about baseball is there was no clock, and the defense had the ball, right? Usually the offense has the ball. So I always thought there was something kind of timeless about baseball because it was developed in the 1800s and there was something pretty great and historic about it. But it got a little ridiculous. Like even back in the 1800s, I don't think anybody took that long between pitches. In fact, I imagine they took less time between pitches back then.
And there is something very satisfying about, like, especially on the radio. And I don't know if it's maybe a country song thing, but hearing the crack of a bat on a home run, there's something electric about that sound.
Yeah. No, I agree. Even just walking into a park while batting practice is going on and you hear that crack, it has that same effect. You know, there's just something cool about it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
The fact that it didn't have a clock always bothered me. They could just last forever. And then it seemed like the more important the game, the longer it was going to take. So if you weren't involved in the game, you were just basically waiting for that to finish so you could go about your life in any other way.
It's so funny though. Like when you think about it, the NFL is kind of the same way. There's so much time between plays.
Yeah.
If you're not into it, you're just waiting for the next thing to happen. But I think two things keep it from being perceived that way. One is it doesn't end up usually taking very long. It's pretty standard how long a game takes unless they funnel in a bunch of TV timeouts or something.
Right.
But the game itself usually
pretty standard 3 hours, maybe 3.5 if it goes to overtime.
And then when there is action, there's a lot of it at once. Whereas in baseball, when there is action, it's a pitch, and then maybe it's a hit and some running and stuff. So.
I think that's part of it is like there's a lot of action, but a lot of it there's no movement. There's just one guy throws the ball, another guy catches the ball. That was a whole play.
Because by that metric, the hockey and basketball way more exciting than football or baseball because it's constant action, constant movement. Hockey gets a ding, same reason soccer does, because they don't score as often and people love scoring. So basketball is the perfect sport. Action constantly, everybody's in motion and they score all the time.
See, I used back in the Jordan days, I'd watch a lot of basketball. I was really into basketball. And then as I fell off from basketball, the flopping became more and more of an issue. Like, I'm not saying it wasn't there in Jordan's day, but
the fouling really does slow it down too.
It's almost like I'm waiting for hold on, I gotta open my garage for my daughter. There we go. I'm waiting for the next time drama is going to play out for no reason. It's like, okay, why are you on the ground again, dude?
You don't get that in college. Much anyway. You don't get that in college basketball as much. You don't get it in the WNBA as much.
I was going to say soccer. I don't like to watch soccer because there's so much of that drama and flopping. And I know considerable amount about how to play soccer because 7 years with my kids in high school soccer at a high level and all that kind of stuff. So I get it. I can watch women's soccer. I love watching women's soccer.
Yeah.
But men's soccer, it's like, why the drama? You have less play time, even though it's still same low scoring. You have less play time because you get more time trying to deal with the drama of the fake hit that he put on you.
Yeah, I don't like the fouling. I don't know what to do about it in soccer, but in basketball, if we're up to me, and I know almost every basketball fan disagrees with me on this, I would make it more severe. Like if you get called with a foul, you are really in danger of leaving the game. Whereas right now there's like virtually no real repercussions to fouling unless you do it a lot, but you can distribute it amongst your 8 players that play throughout the game. So it doesn't really end up hurting anybody.
So I think if you're going to have a system that penalizes fouls, you should have the same system penalize the non-fouls. So if you're going to flop and they review it on tape and they see that it was a flop, well, then you just got marked down for a foul. That's one of your fouls. You just gave up a foul.
Yellow card. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in high school soccer, if you get caught flopping on purpose like that, if it's a grievous one, they will yellow card you right then and there.
I hate subjective rules like that, though, where it revolves on the opinion of someone, whether you were flopping or not.
I will tell you that everything in high school sports is opinion.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. I think that's one of the reasons I like baseball. There's an opinion involved in the balls and strikes and an opinion involved in whether someone was tagged out or not, but almost everything else is mechanical. Like there's not a whole lot of debate over the rest of it. So
yeah. And nobody cares if someone's holding on third base when there's not even a player there. So
yeah. Well, thanks, Amos, for popping in. Thank you, Ron Richards, for being here as well. Catch Ron Richards on Android Faithful, androidfaithful.com or youtube.com/Daily Tech News Show. And also iFanboy. Check out iFanboy if you want his non-Android stuff as well. Have a good weekend, everybody. We'll see you later.
Yeah.